My name is Emily and this is 108 Stitches, which is a mostly knitting video podcast with a little bit of baseball, hence the 108, which is the number of stitches in a baseball. Today is Sunday, December 6th, and it has been a couple weeks since I last recorded a full podcast for you all, so I just wanted to sit down and give you all a proper update on all my knitting. I live in Seattle, Washington with my husband Nofis and our pup Norman, and you can get a little bit more of a peek of our life here in Seattle if you check out my Vlogmas video that I just posted. So rather than doing Vlogmas every day of December, that's just like a lot of recording and a lot of editing, and so I decided to do weekly December vlogs. So my first week of December vlog is up. Those I think are probably going to be going out on Fridays, but you can check out the first one if you are interested. Let's see, what else do I have here? Everything that I talk about today will be down in the description box, and you can of course reach out if you have questions about anything as well. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Emweecurt, EMWEECURT, and that will be down in the in the description box as well. So yeah, I think that is everything. It's been a couple weeks. It feels, I don't know, not out of practice, but it does feel like it's been a while since I've chatted with you all about all my knitting and sat here and done the proper podcast. Norman is bringing me his new toy. This is his, we call it his holiday moose. I'm sure it's a reindeer, but this features heavily in my Vlogmas video, but I think he wants me to throw it for him. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the knitting stuff. So, I feel like I don't have a ton, even though I've been knitting quite a bit, and it's been 2 weeks, just because I've been working mostly on the same couple projects. But I did want to just show you all my progress and a couple of acquisitions and that kind of stuff. So, first is my finished objects. So, I feel like, Roman, drop, thank you. I know I have shown these on my Instagram and stuff, but I think the last time I recorded my podcast, I hadn't yet finished them. So I wanted to show them here as well. These are my Christmas socks. I knit these out of Nomadic Yarn's Twisty socks, so it's like a self-striping yarn in the colorway Christmas Past. The heels, toes, and cuffs are just some leftover red yarn that I had. I believe this is Malintosh sock in the tart colorway, and I thought it really matches the red stripe very well. So if you can see, this cuff is a different yarn than the rest of it, but I feel like it matches this red stripe really well. But anyway, so these are my finished socks. This is just a simple vanilla sock. I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel, which I've been wearing these quite a bit. They are already kind of fuzzy from being worn, but I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I just did, I don't know, I think 12 rows, maybe 10 rows of 1x1 rib at the top, and then I think these are 52 stitch socks. I knit them on a US 1.5, and I always knit my socks on the 9-inch circulars as well, so I did it on that. Oh, he brought me a different toy this time. Are you gonna go get it? Where is it? No. Okay. So yeah, those are my Christmas socks, and I'm really glad that I finished those. And I love the yarn. This was my first time using self-striping yarn, and I really enjoyed it, and I think I will do it again. It's just really fun to be knitting along and either to be really excited about your next stripe, or if you're not paying attention and then you look down and you've changed colors, that's a really fun feeling too. So I really enjoyed knitting these, and we'll definitely be doing self-striping yarn again in the future. So that is one finished object, and then my other finished object is my test knit. So this is actually a tiny bit damp still, and I'll probably lay it back out after I show you all. I blocked this, I started blocking it a few days ago, and it's been taking forever to dry. I finally put the fan on it today, and it is drying up, but I tried it on, and the inside of the sleeves are just like a little bit wet. But here it is. This is my oversized Seasons cardigan, which was a test knit for Haley of Ozetta. And the yarn I used is Peace Fleece Worsted in the Palomino colorway, which is just this gorgeous like peachy color with a little bit of like darker kind of orangey flecks. I'll try to show you a little bit. You can see the like darker flecks maybe, yeah. And I really enjoyed it. This is definitely, I think, the most like rustic, if you want to call it that. Like, this is the most rustic yarn that I've ever used. And that's why I think I mentioned before that my husband in office calls this my beef sweater, because he finds it to be somewhat rough, I guess, and tough. But I still really enjoyed it, and I think blocking it has helped the drape a little bit. Let me try. I can try it on. You can see a little bit, even if it gets my arms a little bit wet. I mean, it's not wet enough that they're going to be like really wet. But the sleeves are a little bit longer than I expected. I think they just blocked out a little long. But here it is. I'm pretty happy with the fit and the drape and everything. I was worried it was going to be a little short before I blocked it, but it actually, I think it blocked out to a really nice length. Let me try standing so you guys can see the length in the back and everything. I've got some nice ease, and I think once the sleeves are a little bit, like, have dried all the way, the drape on the sleeves will be even nicer. I did, I pinned out, I wanted this like balloony sleeve type feel, so right before the cuff, when I blocked it, I pinned the sleeves out a little bit just so that they would dry, kind of spread out. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. After I finished it, before I blocked it, I was just wearing it for a little while, and it's so warm. It's not super soft, like it doesn't feel amazing on my skin, but it's so warm, and I love the way that it looks. I really like the half brioche and everything. So once it dries, hopefully I can go and get some finished object photos. And yeah, I haven't sewn on the buttons yet. Oh, I was going to show you. Let me see if I can find them here. Yeah, my buttons. So I ordered some buttons just on like a antique buttons web Etsy shop, I think. But I think I put these on Instagram, so you may have seen them already there. But I think they're really cute. Here's one. It will focus. There we go. So you can see a little bit. They're like metal buttons with nice like a leaf kind of etched pattern, and they're not flat either. They're kind of bent, so they have like a really good feel in your hand. So I have 4 of those, and as soon as this is dry, I will sew those on. But I think they'll be really cute, and I'm really excited about this finished sweater. So definitely a successful test knit. I would recommend this. I'm not sure when the pattern will be live, but when it is, I'll make sure to like post about it and everything, and would definitely recommend that people knit it. It's a very fun knit. So yeah, that is, oh, I forgot to say also, I was going to mention that the Peace Fleece is 75% Rambouillet and 25% mohair, so it like doesn't have a big halo like you would think with like your silk mohair yarn, but it does have like a little bit of a halo, and I don't know, I think it, for like more rustic yarn, I think it feels pretty good. So I'm going to take this off now because it's still kind of wet. Oh, and I am knitting the extra small, so this is the smallest size, and I think my gauge was not perfect, and I think this size was intended to have a 38-inch bust, and I have like a 33-inch bust, so it was going to give me 5 inches of positive ease. But actually with blocking, I may have gotten gauge. I didn't block my swatch, which I probably should have done since I was test knitting, but I think my gauge was a little tight before blocking, but after blocking, I think I'm close to right on. So I think I may have gotten close to 5 inches positive ease, around there at least. So yeah, those are my finished objects. And now I'll talk about my works in progress. So not a ton that's super exciting here. I only have been working on 2 things, and until last night I had only really been working on 1 thing, and that thing is the sweater that I am knitting for my husband for an office. And here it is. I have definitely shown this on the podcast before. This is the Montrealer, which is, I think I talked when I talked about this before, I mentioned that like I was trying to kind of keep some of the features of the sweater a secret from Office, and it was too hard. Like, we're around each other all the time. We live in the same house. Like, I can't not knit on it, especially because I'm trying to get it done by Christmas. So he knows everything. He knows that it's basically a hoodie. But here it is. This is the Montrealer, and it is by Designs by Delz, and I am knitting it out of Quince & Company Lark Heathers in the Kittywake colorway, which is color 151. And I think I've talked a little bit briefly in the past just about some of the issues with Quince & Company and their potential, not paying proper, what is the word? I can't think of the word right now, but whenever you have a pattern and you get money, every time someone purchases that pattern, there was some sort of dispute with one of their designers, and so I don't have all the information, and I'm not going to talk about it extensively here, but just wanted to make that note. If you are interested in looking into it more before you purchase this yarn, I wanted to make sure to be upfront about that. So this is my first time also using Quince & Company yarn, and I know a lot of people really like it, and it's not that I dislike it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just kind of, I don't know. Like, my hands don't love working with it, I guess. But the garment itself, I think, is fine. And I think it'll be really nice once it blocks out. So, but this is the Montrealer. And so it's basically a hoodie. I've done so the way that I don't want to give too much away, I guess. But you knit the body, and then you go back and like kind of add this pocket. And so I have added the pocket, and the pocket is like sealed off. Sorry, this is hard to do, but you can see here that I can stick my arm all the way through this nice pocket, and then I am just doing the ribbing at the bottom. So I'm supposed to do a couple inches of ribbing at the bottom, and then I will be completely done with the body. But then I have to do both sleeves, and not just like sleeves that are pretty long that go like kind of past his wrists a little bit. So pretty long sleeves, and then a full hood since it's like a hoodie. So I don't know, I'm really still hoping that I can finish this by Christmas. I think that I can. So I don't think I have shared this yet, or you all haven't heard this yet. I talked about it in Vlogmas, but that video hasn't come up yet. But Nafis and I are planning to drive back home to Oklahoma for a few weeks for the holidays. So I just want to be upfront and say that we're taking extreme precautions to make sure that us and our families are extremely safe. Nafis and I have basically been quarantining the entire, since March. We've seen very, very, very few other people and no people indoors or whatever. We've been picking up our food and, only going to the grocery store and everything. And our families are also quarantining and getting tested and stuff before we see them. Either quarantining for 2 weeks or quarantining for over a week and getting tested multiple times before we see them. So, and we are driving back to Oklahoma, and we are not stopping, we're basically only stopping for gas, on our way back. It's about a 30-hour drive. Normally we would do it in 3 days, but we are gonna squish it into 2 days on the way there. And we're just gonna stop one night at an Airbnb, so no interaction or exposure to anyone else there as well. So anyway, I don't even remember why I started talking about this. Oh, the point was that since we are driving for a very long time in the car to get back to Oklahoma, I should have some time to work on this sweater, and hopefully I can finish it by Christmas. I mean, I don't think he'll be upset or anything if I don't get it done in time, but I'm going to do my best to try to finish it, and I should have time in the car when we're driving to do it. Although sometimes, I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but sometimes when I am a passenger in a car, and if I'm looking down at all, even my knitting, I get like a really bad headache. I get more car sick. It definitely happens when I read, so I have a lot of trouble reading in the car, but even with knitting sometimes if I'm looking down at all. So I can normally knit in the car if it's something I don't have to look at, so like a, vanilla sock, or hopefully I can do it for like the sleeves of the sweater, since I won't have to look. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to work on anything very involved, which is kind of sad because this is a long trip. I would like to use tons of the time to knit. But anyway, that was a lot on this sweater, but I'm pretty happy with how it's going so far. I'm happy with the pocket and everything. I still need to do, there's like trim on the pockets and bind off the body, and then yeah, sleeves and hood. So it's crazy how, I don't know, I think about how long a sweater takes and I think about, okay, the body and then the sleeves, but this one has so many additional like features with the pocket, and the hood I think is going to take a long time. It's like big, I guess. There's like a lot of knitting for the hood, so I don't know. I think my estimation for how long it will take may be off. I'm just thinking about like how long it takes to knit a sweater, and this has so many additional features that I think it's going to take me quite a bit longer, but we'll see. I'm going to do my best. And then my only other work in progress is a new cast on that I cast on last night. And this is also a Christmas gift. This is a gift for my brother. And I don't know if he watches this or not, but Ben, if you're watching this, maybe skip for a while, unless you want to be spoiled. I'd rather you not, but try to skip so that you don't see this. But my mom was talking to me about how my brother, Ben, so he plays a trombone. Well, he plays lots of brass instruments, but he plays in the University of Oklahoma's jazz band. And for all their concerts, they wear like kind of snazzy, like formalish type attire. And so I was asking my mom if she had ideas for what Ben would want for Christmas, and she said that he wanted like a snazzy blazer or tie or something. And as soon as she said that, I thought, okay, knitted ties are a thing. Like, I could knit him a tie that would look really snazzy. And at first I was kind of thinking color work or whatever. But I went to Ravelry and I saw a pattern that uses self-striping yarn for a knitted tie. I thought, oh my gosh, this is great. I have a whole bunch of leftover yarn from my Christmas socks. Why don't I make him a self-striping tie with that yarn? So I've started. It doesn't look like a tie yet. It's not just, a lot of times when I've seen other people knitting ties, it's just like they knit the tie part. They just like knit a really long piece, and then, they tie it like a tie or whatever. But this one actually, there's some like seaming and construction involved. I really liked the way that it looked. I think it looked the most like a tie that you would purchase or whatever. But basically, I'm knitting like a rectangle kind of on the bias, if that makes sense. So like diagonally. So you can see these are like the two corners right here. Here, maybe I can. So I started in this pink corner, and then I'm now going diagonally, and I'm gonna knit for a while, making this rectangle, and then I'll do decreases so that it gets skinnier. So this part is like the bottom, and then you fold it and seam the tip of it to be like a triangle. So the tip will be kind of like, and it's hard to do on the needles, but the tip will be kind of like this. I don't know if you can see that very well, but this will kind of be the tip, and then so it'll have like diagonal stripes. Anyway, I just started this last night and it's going really fast because it's just, you know, plain stockinette. But I don't know. I think it'll be kind of cute. Hopefully. And if he doesn't like it, that's fine. If he doesn't wear it, like, this is not going to take me very long to knit. I'm going to tell him that if he doesn't like it, that just to give it back to me. And I don't know. I don't really wear ties, but I could wear it in my hair or something, or I could give it to an office and make him wear it when we go to, like, work Christmas parties or something. I feel like this would be cute for that. So anyway, that is what I'm doing. I'm knitting this for my brother. And this is the first year, like, I didn't really have holiday knitting that I had, like, a deadline for. And it felt kind of nice. I mean, I guess an office sweater. So, I don't know. I did. But I didn't have tons. I wasn't trying to finish, like, a whole bunch of hats or socks or whatever for a lot of family members. And, of course, I had to add this to make it a little bit more, not stressful, but, you know, we got to give ourselves a little bit of that gift knitting pressure. So those are my only works in progress. So now on to acquisitions. I have ordered a few things that have arrived in the last couple weeks. The first is my first ever order from Stranded. So I think I've talked about Amy and her yarn podcast and her yarn company on the podcast before, but Amy has Amy Florence, I think is what she is on Instagram and Ravelry. She has a really great podcast that I love, and it's my first real, like, knitting podcast that I really got into. And she also has a yarn company, and her yarn is just so gorgeous, and I have loved this color for so long. And so when she did her birthday update this year, my friend and I ordered some yarn, and I got a sweater quantity of her DK weight base. So this is her Merino DK. It's just 100% superwash Merino. And this is in the colorway Patisserie. So I'll show this. It is like a really pale pink. I don't know. I'm having trouble with focusing today. But it's like a really pale pink with, please, maybe? So I just need to, there we go. It's like a pale pink with little bits of like brown and darker pink and yellow. And I really love it. Whenever I buy yarn, I really like to have a pattern in mind for it. So for this one, I am planning to make the tulip jumper, which is kind of like a cropped sweater. It's a pullover with like a scalloped edging on the bottom. It's a pattern by Melody Hoffman. And I don't know when I'll make this. I already have like a whole bunch of sweaters in my queue, but I'm really excited about this, and I love this yarn, so I think that would be really fun. And then my other acquisition is I got some stitch markers from Rochelle of Sassafras Knits, and if you don't follow her on Instagram, you should. She shows lots of little sneak peeks and stuff of her stitch markers, and they are just gorgeous. I have been following her and watching them for a while, and then I saw she started doing these hexagon sets, so there are 8 stitch markers, and each one, ooh, shoot, each one has like a little hexagon ring, and then it also has like a little bead on it. I don't know if that will focus. Maybe you can kind of see that. So yeah. So they're like little hexagon stitch markers with a little bead on them. And there are 8 of them, which it was so fun when she was talking about, I think originally she had 6, but she decided to do 8 each so that you could use them for like raglan increases, which is perfect because the plover cardigan that I'm knitting right now, I'm still on, like, I just started it. Well, I say we're knitting right now. It's been on pause for a while. If you remember, I talked about it, I think, like months ago. But I can't wait to go back to it because I have, like, you know, just started the sweater. So I'm definitely on the raglan stage, and I can't wait to use these stitch markers. They're so cute. And the this set is called the Day Court. So she has cute little names for each of her little like color combinations and everything. So definitely check that out if you are interested. These I'm very happy with and are very cute. So that is all for my acquisitions. As far as life stuff, it does feel like there's been quite a bit. Norman is here. He brought me his toy again. Do you want to go get it? Or do you want to come sit with me? Come here. You want to sit with me while I talk about what we've been up to? Oh my goodness. Here's Norm. Right, so life things. It feels like it's been a while since I have chatted with you all. So there's been a lot that's kind of been going on. I think Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving in the US happened since my last podcast, and that was really fun. I wasn't working on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday of that week. And so on Wednesday, Nafis and I did a full day of co-op video games. We basically just played Overcooked all day long. We were planning, if we got through enough, or if we got tired of it, we were planning to switch to Luigi's Mansion, but we just kept playing Overcooked all day long and got through quite a few levels of that. We were going through some of the expansions. So if you haven't heard me talk about Overcooked before, it is a co-op video game where you and your partner work together to chop up ingredients and cook food and deliver it. And there's a time component. You have to do different orders, different kinds of combinations, that kind of stuff. So it's really fun. We played tons of that. And then on Thursday, we did quite a bit of cooking. We cooked some Thanksgiving food, and then we also shared some food with friends. So a couple of our friends, we just did a swap type thing where we each cooked all of one or two dishes, and then we shared bits of it with each other. And so a friend of ours did the turkey, and we got bread and mashed potatoes and stuffing and cranberry tarts and all kinds of stuff from our friends. And so that was really fun. I made sweet potatoes and pumpkin muffins for that. And then we also made a little bit of our own Thanksgiving food. So Nafis in the past couple of years has always done turkey legs rather than doing a full turkey because it's just the two of us. So he brined and rubbed the turkey legs, and that was really tasty. We made our own stuffing and what else? Green bean casserole. And then Friday, I made my mom's apple cream pie, which is so good. And I made an extra one and brought it to a friend of mine who really loves it as well. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of good food over the last little bit. Let's see what else. On Friday after Thanksgiving, we did a full day of movies. So we planned to just get up in the morning and watch movies until we went to bed. And we had different genres that we were going to pick. So I picked an animated movie for us to watch, and also a romantic comedy, a Christmas rom-com. And then Nafis picked a classic movie, and also a sci-fi type movie. And so we watched 4 movies, and it was really fun. We just got up and watched movies and ate Thanksgiving leftover food. And then that evening, I also made some hot chocolate on the stove with melted chocolate and sweetened condensed milk, which is so sugary and so bad for you, but it tastes so good. So I would definitely recommend, if you haven't tried that kind of hot chocolate, it's super tasty. Yeah, so that was kind of our Thanksgiving weekend. And then other than that, let's see. We have been spending quite a bit of time preparing for this trip that I mentioned earlier, preparing to go back to Oklahoma, so planning our route and our packing list and all the things that we need to get before we go, figuring out how Norm's going to do in the car and all the stuff we need to bring for him and everything. So that's been a lot of our time. Yesterday I repotted a whole bunch of plants. If you want to know more about what we've been up to day to day, I would definitely recommend checking out the Vlogmas. I've been sharing some about our day-to-day life there. Yeah, what else? We started a new puzzle. What's up, buddy? We started a new puzzle, and I don't know, what else have we done? Mostly just the usual stuff. We're still working, and Sunday breakfast today was pumpkin pancakes. So I feel like it feels like every time my podcast is just pumpkin pancakes. But yeah, that's really all that's been going on in our lives right now. And then as far as baseball goes, of course, Major League Baseball is not happening right now. There are winter leagues that are happening, and if you're interested, would definitely recommend kind of like checking those out. I haven't watched a ton this year, but last year around Thanksgiving time, Nafis and I actually were in Puerto Rico, and we watched a winter league game live, and that was so much fun. It's just like a very chill atmosphere, and we really enjoyed it. You could get, we got pina coladas from our seats, rather than the normal concessions, which are like beer. They went around with pina coladas and snow cones, which was really fun because it's really warm there. But yeah, so if you're interested in watching some baseball right now, Winter League is happening. But otherwise, the only other baseball thing that I kind of wanted to mention, I got a question. I think this was on one of my previous podcasts. Someone had commented, and I didn't take note of who commented, so I'm really sorry about that. But someone asked me if I played baseball or softball or other sports when I was a kid. And if that, I guess, I don't know if she asked this, but just kind of if that was part of my love of baseball and that kind of stuff. And I played some sports when I was younger. So as a young kid in elementary school, I played soccer and softball, and we did little bits of other stuff, in the summers. I think we did brief tennis lessons. I say we, my siblings and we did tennis briefly, and a little bit of swimming and that kind of stuff. But mostly I just played soccer and softball. I played both of them up, I think, most of the way through middle school, and then I stopped playing when I was in high school. And I really enjoyed it. I had a ton of fun, but I think eventually there was just a lot of other activities that I was much more interested in. So when I was in school, when I was in middle school and high school, I was really into orchestra. I played the viola. And I was really very, pretty serious and committed to that. So that took up a ton of my time, and then also just school and everything else. So I stopped playing sports in middle school, but I really enjoyed both soccer and softball. I did 1 year of fast pitch softball, and that was hard. But so after that, I switched back to slow pitch softball, and I actually pitched a little bit and played, I don't know, wherever. Shortstop a little bit and outfield, wherever else, but the fast pitch was too hard for me. It was very difficult. So I definitely have a really good appreciation for what these professional athletes are able to do. I could not successfully hit I don't even know how fast it was going, but not nearly as fast as the pitching is in Major League Baseball. So, but I had a ton of fun with that. I think maybe it partially had a part in my love for sports and for baseball, especially now. But I think most of my love for baseball just came from watching it and growing up, talking about baseball with my dad and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so thank you so much for that question. And if anyone else has questions about baseball, feel free to comment them below or send me a message or or questions about anything else as well, and I will definitely try to answer them. And I think that's all I had that I wanted to talk about today. Oh, I was going to show you briefly my yarn advents if you're interested in seeing those. Norm is inhibiting me from moving a little bit here, but I have them right here, so let me grab them. So, okay, spoiler alert. These are, first I'm going to show my Stress Knits 7-day advent, and those, so for those of you that are doing that advent or may not have opened, I'm about to show the first 6 days of my Stress Knits 7-day advent. So if you don't want to see this, maybe skip ahead a little bit or don't look or whatever. I'm not going to talk about the colors very much, but I'm not going to go through all of them, but I just thought I would hold them up so you all could see. But here they are. Sorry, I can't get it super close to the camera because I'm not going to disrupt Norm here, but I'm really happy with these colors. I think they're a really beautiful palette and they go so well together. So that is the Stress Knits one so far. I have only one more day of that one. And then my Grenouille one is my 24-day. And if for some reason you haven't opened them or you don't want to see for some reason, look away for the Grenouille one. But here is my Grenouille one. Let me go around so you can see all of the colors. And I am loving it so far. So this is, again, the first 6 days, and I'm loving it. So a couple of, I guess I can mention, I should have done this in the knitting and yarn part because there may have been people who skipped the end. So sorry about that if you missed it, but I guess you wouldn't be here right now, so I don't know who I'm apologizing to. But I have a couple of projects in mind for these advents. There was a shawl pattern release, I think called the Luminaria or Lumarina. I don't remember the name, but I'll try to put it here. I'll put a picture up for sure, and then I'll put the info down below. But I'm considering making that with some of my advents, and also there is a pattern, I think by Boylan Knitworks, Caitlin Hunter, I think it's called Time Trades, and I may be wrong, but it's like a big wrap pattern that uses, I think, 5 mini skeins and 2 full skeins. So I may do that with my Stress Knits one if I pick out 5 colors that I really like that I think go well together, and then just 2 full skeins of yarn and do that wrap. And also with some of my Grenouille ones, I'm thinking about doing a striped tube scarf, but doing like helical stripes. So just like going back and forth between 2 colors and then like switching to a new color. And anyway, we'll see what I end up doing with it, but I'm really excited. And yeah, I think I can't wait to keep opening them. It has been such a joy to open my advent yarn every morning. I get out of bed and it's the first thing that I want to do. So I really loved it, and I don't know, it's going to be hard not to buy an advent calendar every year. So anyway, that is all I have for you all today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, I hope you do lots of knitting and watch lots of baseball and have a great week. Bye!